Welcome in, y'all. Timeshare Clarence. First and foremost, as always, I want to thank God for waking me up this morning and blessing with another day, another opportunity to work towards becoming the man I desire to be. Um, just feeling extremely fortunate right now, blessed to be able to spend some time with family. It's not something that I get to do as often as I would like, and that's something that I'm in a position to change now, based off my disability coming back in at 100%. So it's been 3 or 4 years, I think 3 years since I uh, lost my 100% disability from the VA for unemployability. So I just came out here. I really ain't have intention on talking about anything in particular. Just kind of enjoying the time with the family. But I think one of the biggest things that is on my mind is how much of a benefit the military is. And I made videos before um, about how I would strongly recommend the military for any young person, getting started off in their life. I just want to provide some context and go in a little bit detail. And this is definitely not all going to be covered right now, but for the situation I'm in right now and the impact that getting 100% disability is going to have in my life and on my situation, I felt like I have to talk about it right now. So I just took my nephew RJ to I'll just say I just took him out to eat for his birthday dinner. That's a tradition I want to start with, you know, with my immediate and closely extended family. So I've always tried to take Aaliyah out for her birthday um, and do something with Sophie and Micah for their birthday. But even just something as simple as a dinner, which really kind of hit home with my friend Brent, making sure he took me out to dinner for my birthday. Because it means a lot, and it is your day, and it is special when you should celebrate, even if you can't do something extraordinary or extravagant. At least, go celebrate, have a meal with somebody that you care about. Now, this is part of the reason I hate being in Michigan, because of these bugs. So I don't know how long I'll be out here, but let me try to power through this. So it is what, July 7th, 2025, and my VA disability just got increased back to 100% from 90%. It was at 80% at one point in time. So my original award was 80%. I got 100% for unemployability. I had that for years. I got into the timeshare industry, reported that I was working, went back down to 80, and then I procrastinated years until I'm like, all right, let me go ahead and try to get my 100% back. And then I started this process in June of 2024, submitted a claim for increases for my existing conditions that I already had awards for at the time. The biggest one being my mental health stuff. So I was given a 30% rating for adjustment anxiety disorder and mild depression. And then that was increased from 30% to 70% for severe depression, anxiety, so on and so forth. So that took me from 80% to 90%. And then that process took maybe 3-4 months. I started in June. I think they ruled on it in September, August or September, not too long. So then from September until December, I didn't do anything. And then in December, I went back and submitted for increases to 3 other already service-connected disability awards that I had. I had service connection to injury with my right and left wrist, but the rating was 0% for both. I had service connection to having back issues, but the rating was 10%. I had service connection to my right shoulder, because I had a torn labrum and I had shoulder surgery, as well as my neck. So I just put in an increase for my neck, my wrist, and my back. My right wrist got increased from 0 to 10. My neck did not get increased. It was at 10. They left it at 10. And then my back got increased from 10 to 40. But that still kept me at 90%, because the VA math is the percentage of the award is off of what's left over, not off of everything. So 50, if you got two 50s, that's not 100. The first 50 is an award by itself, and then the next 50 is 50% of the remaining 50. So it's 25, so you'll be at 75, but they go in increments of 10, so if you're at 75, you're at 80. So that's how my original award was. I was at 80%. So it's really difficult to get to 100% unless you have multiple conditions with pretty high awards. So now at this point, I got 70% for mental health. I'll just say that. I got 50% for sleep apnea. I got 50% for sinusitis. I got 40% for my back. So a 70, 2 50s, and a 40 give me to 100. And then I got several other, I think I got 5 other service connected conditions that with awards anywhere, you know, it will range. But from 0, probably going to 30 or 40 or 50%, depending on what these ones come back about. The headaches that I get, headaches all the time. And then mental health is always something that's going to be an issue. So anyway, said that to say this. There's no way I would change it. You know, I saw a lot of athletes, specifically football players, talking about the risk of concussions and whatever, but would they do it again? And they would, overwhelmingly, because the benefit outweighs the risk, and they're willing to deal with the consequences as long as they got what they got of it. And that's the same way I feel about the military. Now, I can't compare the military to, you know, making, you know, multi-tens of millions or hundreds of millions of dollars being a professional athlete. But just for a normal person, that's how I feel. Like, I look around my family, friends, everybody's situation, and everybody has problems. Everybody has physical pain. Everybody has some type of psychological trauma or damage and dealing with mental health issues and everything else. So from that standpoint, and I won't say that it's all to the same extent, I do feel like I'm probably a little bit more messed up mentally than some people that didn't serve, and that's fair. But when I look at the benefit of it, it's still worth it to me, because, like, all right, yeah, I'm dealing with these issues, but maybe it's a little bit more than I'd be dealing with if I didn't go to the military. But even if I didn't go to the military, I would, in all likelihood, be dealing with at least some of these issues, or maybe all of these issues, just to a lesser extent. But I wouldn't be put in a position where I have a certain amount of certainty. I have a certain amount of security that most people don't have, because what I never have to worry about is not being able to have somewhere to live, food to eat, clothes on my back, whatever. As long as I'm responsible and live within my means, the military will provide a certain quality of life for me going forward, due to my disability. So I never have to worry about, is my mortgage going to be paid? I never have to worry about, are my lights going to get cut off? Is my phone going to get cut off? Am I going to be able to get something to eat because of my disability award? So when I say disability, that's what I mean. Like, not because of what's wrong with me, but because of the compensation that the VA provides for everything that I deal with as a result of my military service. And I haven't seen some for regular people that had a better return on investment, regardless of what's wrong with me. Like, the more they mess you up, then they do everything they can to take care of you. And I heard a lot of mixed reports about, you know, VA services. And in my experience, because I got out in 2012, So, it's been over a decade. It's gotten better and it continues to get better like everything else. So do I feel like it probably was a lot more validity to the things you hear about the inferior care in the VA healthcare system? Yeah, it probably was. And maybe it still is, but it's not like it's because they don't care or they don't want to take care of veterans. I get a lot of support, a lot of good guidance, and I feel like, top quality treatment. I don't feel like if I went to a civilian doctor, I got better treatment, you know, but it's less people. It's a different system. They got to figure stuff out and work stuff out, but I do feel like they're doing their best, and I do feel like they are doing good for veterans. At least that's been my experience. Some people's experience has been different, but I'll take it because I'm so thankful at this point to get 100% disability award and know that I can be here for my nephew's birthday. I don't have to worry, like, no matter what happened, if I need to be somewhere for my kids, I can be there, regardless of what's going on with me, because that's the security that my VA Disability Award gives me that I didn't have without it, and life would still be life without it. So now I rambled enough. I'm gonna get to the point. I really, for anybody that served, I would hope and pray that they don't just deal with the consequences of that service and not benefit from all of the things that they have access to and all of the entitlements they have as a veteran, because I think that's really the disparity between, the service and then the care after is like we have to do it ourselves. We have to, and a lot of us don't know where we're supposed to go. But it's not like the VA trying to make it hard. But I've talked to several veterans recently that is their perception or perspective, just because they didn't know what to do, or in the past the processes that they've gone through didn't go their way. But like, the information is out there, the help is out there, the resources are out there. If you have legitimate conditions, boy, you also have to be open to, like, it might not be what you think it's gonna be, but they will treat you fairly. But it's also, you have to be able to present your case and get enough evidence for them to make the rules that they need to make in order to take care of you. You can't just be complaining about it but not going through the processes you need to do to get what you're entitled to. Because if you get what you're entitled to, it does put us on a level that the vast majority of people will never experience. I don't know too many people. Honestly, I'll only speak for my family and circle of friends. I only personally know one friend or family member that, despite anything that has been going on in the world, like, they didn't have to worry about paying their bills. They didn't have to worry about taking care of their, but they still had concerns about how long and how sustainable that was if things didn't turn around. But just, I don't have that concern anymore, and I'm thankful for that. And that alone is worth anything that the military cost me, any issues that I deal with as a result of my military service, anything else. But now my nephews are getting a little bit older, my kids are getting older, and it's like, man, nobody going to the military or thinking about going to the military, and it's like, I feel like it's a mistake not to, because it's such a small, and it could, but I guess it's the risk versus the reward, because the potential sacrifice is the ultimate sacrifice, and that's true. But the likelihood of that happening is slim to none. But the most likely thing to happen is you go, you do your service, you learn your job or your trade, you get out and either get a job in that field if you want to, or just redefine yourself and do something else, go a different direction. But whatever you choose to do, as long as you did what you were supposed to do in the service and got out with, you didn't get out with a dishonorable discharge, like, you still have all of these benefits. So I was a cook in the Army. I don't have no interest and having nothing to do with food service or restaurant or anything else, or at least at this point. And even if I did, it would be as an investor, not, it's not something I'm trying to do. But I was a cook in the Army for 5 years. I know how to cook. Now, if I could do it over, would I be a cook? Absolutely not. And would it did something else that I could be benefiting from now? But other people had the opportunity. Somebody, my nephew said he want to be a nurse. Hey, he can go in the military and get some training in the medical field and then get out and go to school, and you'd be a lot better off that route than just going to school, accumulating a bunch of student loan debt, and then getting out trying to work yourself into a grade to get out of this that you put yourself in, to get a job that they told you, you know, was a good job to have because it made good money. But it's only good money if you don't have any responsibility. A lot of the jobs that people get pushed to do and convinced are good careers, because on paper you're making 6 figures, but when you're giving these people 12, 16 hours a day, you know, and your quality of life is not great, and you made some decent money, but then after taxes and everything else, like, was it really worth it? And that's the question. So even though it took us over 15 minutes to get there, that's really the question. Is what you're doing worth it? Is what you're encouraging your kids to do worth it? Because if it's not, I would suggest that the military is probably a better alternative than 98% of the stuff that people are encouraging their kids to do, and when it breaks down, it's not really worth it. Most of the jobs that we get are not really worth it when you look at the amount of time that you're trading for the compensation that you get, the type of jobs that you're doing for, you know, the money, whatever you can get from the money. I just had a brief conversation with my nephew about having a traditional job, you know, where you go clock in, make $10 an hour or $15 an hour, wherever it is, versus cutting grass. If you cut somebody's yard, cut somebody's grass, and it took 20, 30 minutes and you made $30, versus if you had a job making $15 an hour, but you did way more work and it's something you didn't want to do, like, which one is really worth it? But we got to start asking ourselves, and also challenging our children and the next generation to ask themselves, is the stuff we invest in our time, energy, and effort in worth it? Because if it's not, why are we doing it? Time is a limited resource. None of us know how much we have. So that's another reason I'm doing this, because I don't know how much time I have, and the more I think about it, no matter what, every day I wake up is less time. So I don't want to not take advantage of a single day to do the best that I can to position myself to accomplish what are my goals. I don't even want to say dreams, goals, right? To establish and invest in what I want to build as my legacy, right? Am I living in my purpose? And this is a big part of that, because when it comes down to it, if I can have any influence that's going to be the most impactful, is to have the best influence on my kids, my nephews, and my family directly. So I hope that this does benefit them. I hope that, you know, they listen. I hope y'all listen, because some of y'all should be watching this at some point, whether it's now or later. So my kids, my nieces, my nephews, cousins, whatever, like, make it worth it. Because we don't get to do the things that we want to do for ourselves or loved ones a lot of times. This trip, I spent a decent amount of money, but I ain't tripping off it, because again, I'm now in a position where I ain't got to trip off it. A month ago, I ain't know if I had a check coming, you know, beyond. I ain't know if my bills would be paid beyond. I know my rent would be paid. Like, I know my rent would be paid. I know my life insurance would be paid. And that's another thing. Like, so now, between having my life insurance to know that if for some reason on this journey my path get cut short, at least my kids are going to be taken care of with that. But if it doesn't get cut short, or even if it does, depending on how long it is, just that, you know, I'm in a position where I can invest in the outcome that I want, which is for my kids to have the financial freedom and flexibility to pursue their passions, not to get a job because they make a lot of money, but to get a job because they feel like that job is going to put them in a position to have the impact that they want to have on the world or their family or whatever else, because that's what I'm now allowed to do. That's what I'm now in position to do, is to focus on my purpose, to be the most benefit to my family. Anybody else that benefit from it, great, but that's the goal, is for it to benefit my family first and foremost. But you got to be in a position to do stuff. It's the difference between can't do something and won't do something. It's very, very few times where I wouldn't do something. Now, there have been times where I wouldn't do something, but if I made that decision, I want to say it was made for me, right? If somebody came to me and it's like I would not do something for them, that's because it's been so many times that I did it and they didn't hold up their end. I won't do it anymore. But not because like I'm unwilling to help somebody. But you gotta be willing to help yourself. You gotta be responsible and accountable for your decisions. It's just been times that, you know, based off the history, I wouldn't do it anymore. But that's very rare. But it's so much worse when you can't do it. When it's somebody that you would give your last for, you ain't got nothing to give. When it's a friend or a family member that you really wish you could help out, but that's all you can do is wish you could help them out because you ain't got no money. And I'm gonna make sure that as many people as I can influence to not be in that position, choose to kind of, and I don't want to say follow my footsteps, but take advantage of my experience. That's what I would say. Take advantage of my experience and, you know, apply the things that you want to your situation to get the benefits, whether you like me or not. Like, I do this for your benefit, because the way that my life is gonna play out is up to me, and it's gonna play out that way whether it's recorded or not. But I record it so that it can benefit somebody else, because it's gonna benefit me what I'm doing. My experience is guaranteed to benefit me because I've made the decision to act on that experience and apply those lessons and make the changes that I need to make, and to continue to be open to more changes and accept the fact that it's a journey and things are going to change. But this timeshare clearance, like, is for you, my kids, my nephews, my nieces, my friends, my family, my supporters. It's for you, it's not for me. And I hope that it benefits y'all. But if it's one thing that I would say, and it's too late for some of us, it's too late. But if you have children, if you have nieces, nephews, if you have younger people in your family, cousins, like, if any young person in your family is considering the military, don't just dismiss it. Don't discourage them from doing it. Like, but support them if that's what they want to do it the right way, where it has the least amount of impact on them in the long term, but the biggest benefit on them in the long term. And if anybody really want to know my advice on that, then I'm more than happy to share. But just in general, the concept of risk versus reward, military is one of the best bets you can make. I would make it again and again and again. I did it, and it even though it didn't immediately pay off, in the long run it paid off, because I'm in my early 40s and I at least have peace of mind from a standpoint of having all of my basic necessities taken care of for the rest of my life. And that's not something a lot of people can say, and the value of that is a lot more than people think, because that peace of mind is gonna allow me to do so much more as I learn more and look more into the other benefits that I get and start taking advantage of some of this other stuff, because that's the first thing. First, you gotta make sure, all right, now that's established, I'm gonna be all right. Now it's time to go to the next level and chase the next level of quality of life, to where, you know, I guess for a long time I was in survival mode, and now it's not necessarily that anymore. So now it's the transition from, I don't have to worry about surviving anymore. Now I can focus on thriving. Now I can focus on growing. Now I can focus on investing and creating something. And that's a beautiful place to be. And I wish that everybody I care about will find themselves in that place where they know every day they wake up their eye, they open up and wake up their eye. I keep saying the same thing. Every day they wake up and open their eyes, they never have to worry about being homeless. They never have to worry about, the lights getting cut off or not being able to pay their phone bill. Or even more important, I don't have to worry about missing any more special events for anybody in my family. I'm gonna be there for my cousin Keisha's wedding. I'm gonna be here for my sister's birthday. I'm gonna be there for my mama's birthday. I'm gonna be there for my nephews, my kids, and that in itself is worth anything that it cost me to be in my early 40s and know that as long as I live, I can be there when I need to be there for the people that I care the most about. And I hope that all of those people find themselves in the same position sooner or later. So that's it for now. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Until next time, Timeshare Clarence. Peace.